All right, guys, so when we are graphing inequalities, there are two things that we have to decide. One is the type of line that we are going to use, and my options in this case are going to be solid or dashed, right? And then decide where I'm going to shade it. So my inequality is actually going to decide both of those. So right here, I have y is greater than 2x minus 1. So here you can see with the dots, you can kind of see a rough estimate of what that line would look like. But again, I have to go in and I have to make sure that I use the correct line. So because it is just greater than, right? So notice anytime it's just less than or greater than, we're going to use a dashed line. So if it doesn't have that or equal to, we're going to use a dashed line. So when I graph it, you guys will kind of see my rough estimate. Notice it is a dashed line, right? And what that means is the points on that dash line are not actually part of the solution, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Okay, so now that I know I have a dash line, the last thing I have to figure out is which way do I shade? Do I shade above or do I shade below? So if you have anything that is greater than or equal to, you are going to shade above the line. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to shade above the line. And again, in the second half, we'll talk about what does that shading actually mean. Okay, now on the second one right here, I have y is less than or equal to 2x minus 1. So again, the same 2x minus 1, but my inequality is different, which is going to change my whole entire graph. So the first thing I have to decide is what type of graph do I use? Well, the first thing I have to do is I have to look at if it has an equal to or it doesn't. So in this case, it is less than or equal to. So I know that I'm going to be using a solid line. So when I graph this, I'm going to use a solid line, okay, because it's less than or equal to, right? And then again, where do I shade? So if I have anything that's less than or equal to, I'm going to shade below my line. And so my shading is going to be right here, right? So I'm shading below. Okay, so we're going to be using this chart quite a bit to decide what type of line do we use and where do we shade, which direction.